Today is quite a different day, and I'm quite sure that you'll enjoy this particular episode we're about to have, because I have with me a very strong lady, Lenia. Tell us what inspired you to, first of all, join the circles of leadership, regardless of the fact that it was at the university level.
Okay, for MUBS in particular, while I was at Our Lady of Africa, Mukono, allow me mention the school because it has supported my journey so much. So yes, Our Lady of Africa, Mukono. I was head prefect at Our Lady of Africa.
Oh, wow.
So every time as head prefect, back in my mind, I knew as like when I get to campus, you know, when you're passionate about something, you keep following up. So even while I was at school, I would always follow the campus politics.
Yeah.
I was that girl who was very excited to be part of the team that is always shouting the ways at campus, that is always running around looking for votes. So directly when I came to MOBS, I instantly got involved.
Okay.
Yes, I had to ask, I'm like, what are the leadership positions for a year one student? And they told me, you can start from a course leader. You can start from, I'm like, okay, yes, I'll be the course leader of my program. And yes, I campaigned and I was voted as the course leader of the procurement class.
Okay.
So from there, they told us there is a GRC position. I'm like, what is GRC? They explained to me. I'm intrigued. I participated in the guild elections and I became the first ever year one student to be appointed vice guild president in MOBS.
Okay.
So that is where the whole leadership journey fully started from. I started understanding governance, politics as it is. And yes, I again got interested to run for guild president as well in MOBS. After becoming the vice in year one.
Yeah. So take us through the journey of running for guild presidency.
MOBS has been forever an institution known for not electing young ladies for the guild presidency position. So it was very hard for me. I needed to work twice as hard as any boy that was running for that position. And I'm very excited that now we have a female guild president, Nawire Rose, and I give her all the credit. I know what it means to run for an election such as that. So it was quite hard. Even coming in second position, for me, it was a blessing because I needed to fight. I needed to prove myself. We had very sleepless nights, but yet again, it trained me because I think it is one of the reasons why I am very confident to now run for Member of Parliament in Vora. By the way, people should not take institutional politics for granted. It's a different kind of feel. The training you go through, the fact that you need to work with a team, the fact that you're dealing with people in general, it's the same thing. So for me, that is what nurtured me. And it's what built me to say, you know what, Lenia, you could actually go back home and offer your candidacy to lead the people of Vurra County.
It sounds like a dream, isn't it?
Yes. A dream come true as well.
Well, I can only imagine what it feels like to transit from what you talked about, institutional politics, especially at the campus level, and you're vying for a national position in leadership, such as that of the Member of Parliament. Did you have that fear that what I'm going for is actually could be something big and, you know, the weight could be very heavy to carry?
Oh my God, Joe, it took me ages to come up with a conclusive decision. I had to rethink. I would go back, introspect, reflect. I would go back weeks and weeks. And I refused to consult very many people. Have you heard when you're trying to make a decision and when you consult very many people, you end up backing off? That's what I realized. I was like, no, this is going to be a personal decision. So that if it hits me in the end, it is me to blame. So I would sit back, think and rethink. I'm like, am I ready for this? Will I do this? Initially, people had convinced me to go for youth politics. Lenia, Lenia, what is wrong with you? Lenia, you can manage youth politics. Lenia, this. And me, that was not me. That I'm like, no, I have to go back home. But again, it comes back to what I see at home. For me, it was that gap. I'm like, but I can represent my people very well in parliament. Why should I go for youth politics when I believe that I could offer my candidacy to the people of Vora and convince them to an extent? And they're like, but this girl has some sense as well. So it took me time to make that decision. I didn't know where to get the finances from at first. I am just a girl who has left campus. Meanwhile, gotten a job, a slight job, because I love volunteering with community. I think I've volunteered with very many NGOs if you've followed in the past. So that was another thing. I enjoy working with the community as well, with different communities as well. So making such a decision was so hard for me. But at the end of the day, I just closed my eyes and I said, you know what? Let's do this. Why? Have you ever felt like doing something, but you don't do it, and later on you regret? You're like, I wish I had done it. I wish. And then you see somebody else do it and it keeps hitting you. I'm like, no, I do not want that feeling. I rather do it and fail, but I will have the satisfaction that I actually offered my candidacy for member of parliament in Vurra, other than sitting and I later on regret and say, I wish I didn't want the I wish part. That is why I just closed my eyes and came to the constituency.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a personal conviction that triggered you to contest.
Absolutely.
As a member of parliament. But other than that, let's speak from the perspective of your constituency. Are there some things that convinced you that actually it's even beyond the personal conviction, that actually I need to be there, I need to represent my people because I need to do this for them, I need to fix this gap? Are there some things you saw on ground that also motivated you?
While I was at school, I always moved back to my constituency for holidays. I would see certain things that hit me so much. And to me, I believe there is a very big gap of leadership that is lacking in Vora County. And even the electorates will agree with me and say, yes, it is true, we have a gap. But then I started following what could be the reasons of this gap. Is it meaningful representation that we are lacking? Okay, how do we fix that? Because we cannot always keep on blaming the leaders. I am somebody who does not love the blame game, because I believe that at an individual level, we all have a responsibility to change our communities. We all have a responsibility to sensitize our people. We all have a responsibility to say something. Nobody stops you from talking and saying, you know what, this is wrong in our constituency. Nobody stops you from having a voice to that. But I saw there was a gap, most importantly, of meaningful representation in my constituency, and that is what pushed me to actually come and stand for the position of member of parliament.
Wow, nice. I think at the start of this year, there was a huge backlash on social media,
Yes.
especially X.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of exchanges between you and young people and also other categories of people. And, when you ran for guild presidency, you affiliated yourself with the National Unity Platform.
Yeah.
And when you declared your intentions to run as a member of parliament for Vora, you changed your party or you carried a party, because I understand that at campus level we don't have political parties, but we have affiliations. This time around you said, no, I will take the yellow bus. And a lot of people have been wondering why that transition. But before we go there, I wanted to understand, when you joined the National Unity Platform, were there some principles you believed in that triggered you to actually join the National Unity Platform?
Yes. When I joined the National Unity Platform, while you're at university like myself and you're a young person, you get convinced that maybe the systems should be a different way.
Yeah.
The country should be run a different way. Service delivery should be a different way, right? It's always for the good. It's for the good intention. And when National Unity Platform came to preach this, we got convinced because they have their values as well, right? So I myself, I equally got convinced as well. I'm like, you know what? Yes, I think this is how it is actually supposed to be. This is what we want for our Uganda.
Yeah.
This is, we want to eliminate corruption in our country. And that is one of the things that is that is bringing a lot of setbacks when it comes to our development, right? So when they came in preaching such messages, when they came in preaching issues of service delivery, looking at our different hospitals, looking at how our roads are, and we would love these things to be different as well, until you get to understand how government actually runs. But while I was there, I will agree with you that we fell in for their beliefs. We fell in for the way we believed, we hoped, the hope that they give Ugandans and the hope that they give us, that our country will be different when you choose to vote for a different president. Because the belief is that the head is the problem, right?
Yes.
But yeah, with your follow-up question, of course, along the way, I got to realize that part of their values and their systems were different from what they preached. Their actions and their characters were different from what they preached. And for me, it would not be a path that I would have loved to take as well. But there is something that I want to clear. When I switched, different people kept on telling me, your political career has died, you're losing your reputation, and things like that. And I remember responding to them. I told them, for us politicians, reputation to us is created by people. Reputation to us is created by the society. But there is one thing they cannot take from us, and that is character. I have my principles that are deeply rooted. I have my values I grew up with, that I believe in, that I know that if I got to parliament today, I have the best intentions for my people. But then it's unfortunate that when you are affiliated to a political party, you definitely become an enemy to someone who is not, especially to the National Unity Platform. I have literally lost almost all my friends who are in the National Unity Platform. I just have a few, and those few believe in me on a personal level. They know me, they know my values, they know what I stand for, and they know that even when I got to parliament, I will do good and right for my people. That they know. But I can tell you majority have now turned into enemies. who can now hardly greet even when we pass by. That is how bad it is.
Yeah.
Right? And yet, it's a generation we are supposed to build. So that was really it. And I don't think I've answered your question of why, but you can proceed.
Really, basically, what triggered your movement, I think, from the national unity platform is what you've told us, that they preached some beliefs that later on you discover that were not actually what they had preached. But why national resistance movement and not FDC and not ANT, or why not independent?
I need to be very honest. When I say I'm going to get to parliament, I would love to be a legislature. I don't wish to work in a space where I might be where I might find hurdles. Actually, let me put it that way, where I might find hurdles serving my people. And for me, in my mind, I know that choosing to work with the government, choosing to work with the party in power is the only way I could lobby for better services for my people. For me, I am this type of person who would say the problem could actually be the vessels, especially for us in our constituency. And what I mean by the vessels, the people who represent us, right? That could be the challenge. But what if it was different? We've seen members of parliament who are NRM, and at times they are condemning what the party does. They will bluntly say it, but as well, they are working for their people. They are doing their right thing. They are lobbying, and when it comes to appropriating funds, they properly preach it. They properly speak about their hospitals and about their schools and how funds need to be appropriated in the right places. They do overview. And I believe those are the responsibilities of a member of parliament. They legislate when they get there, right? So, but for us, because now we've turned to when we've turned to NRM, the other team will believe that our integrity is lost. You could see all the names I've called on social media. But as well, I was thankful for such an interaction, because from a different perspective, you get to see people's beliefs and what they think. And if we are really going to say, I need to work for my people, for me, I saw it in a different angle, right? So me, that is really it. I'm one of those people who believe work with the system in power. If you need to change something, change it within the system. However hard it is, if you need to fight within the system. We've seen those who have fought within the system quietly, and they know it. And we've also seen those who have fought loudly. You've seen members of parliament do it. So I think I am one of those people who chooses such a path and not the other way around, where I know I'm going to face a lot of hurdles, even when I wanted to deliver services. Let us be very honest. From a political point of view, you are an opposition leader and you want to advocate for proper services, but the government in power might be different and does not support you. Believe me, either way, definitely they will make life hard for you. That is an honest. And I didn't want to go through that path if I really wanted to serve people of Vura. In fact, they would keep asking me every time, Lenia is shouting in parliament, she's getting arrested 24/7, she's fighting left, right, center, and we are seeing nothing happening in our constituency. It is still as bad as it was from the very first time we elected her. You see that point? What if I went there, quarreled within the system, made noise within the system? I'm like, we have few schools and our schools are this and this. Can we do this? Our hospitals are bad. You people come over. And we all know that these services are not a privilege. It is something that the government needs to provide. So for me, that is it.
Okay. It triggers my mind to the fact that if we cannot coexist as political parties or as people that come from different political backgrounds.
Yes.
And if we cannot work together, and then we have a big challenge.
Absolutely.
And that brings me to a point where political parties are a liability, or we really need them as a country. What's your view? What do you think?
When multi-party politics was introduced in our country, I believe this is a concept that people had to deeply think about. But yet again, I am one of those people who believes that not all of us will have the same ideologies, right?
Yes.
We might look at political parties as a liability, but to work through the systems, we need them. I am only having a problem with political parties being present at an institutional level. In fact, to the NRM government, I am one of those people who wishes for political parties to be banned in universities, because I know how it affects the young people, that side. But yes, for me...
Why do you think it should be banned? Because many people actually think it gives life to politics at university level.
No, not giving life. You've seen, a university should be an institution that stimulates intelligence. Should be an institution where you're completely open-minded. Have your views, which is okay. Have your ideologies, but you get to realize that when political parties get extremely involved in our institutional politics, it even affects the systems back in the universities. You see the hatred that we have when it comes to national politics? That is how bad it gets back at the university. And that is not the space we want for students. When your parents have sent you to the university, they expect you to learn, to grow, they expect you to study. University, for me, should be a place for people to grow, to learn, to develop on a personal level. Personal development in any way that you want to. And you've seen when political parties get involved at institutional level, there are students who were even arrested back then while I was at MOOBS. Students, okay, we need to strike this, strike that, and they're seeing you with NUP red everywhere, and then police is beating you and what. That is not the environment we want for students. That is not the environment I would want for my daughter I've sent to university to go and widen his or her knowledge gap. We want a peaceful and safe environment at an institutional level. And believe me, with political parties involved, that cannot happen. You will see these different personalities come in, different MPs, mayors.
Does it mean you regret having participated in...
No, I don't regret it. For me, it was a beautiful experience. For me, it was amazing.
I'm
but
quite sure some of the students would love to have that experience.
But I also but I also saw the other side. And honestly, we would rather avoid it than have the other side. During Dangote's election, a student got killed in an institution, in a university. It is not supposed to be happening. While we are preaching peaceful elections, peaceful campaigns, and we are seeing students dying in an institution because of campaigns, that is the problem of involving political parties. It comes in with rage. And people fail to get a grip of themselves. Someone can have anger to an extent of slapping you because of all these things that have been encrypted in our minds of how we should look at the ruling party as an enemy, hate them.
You didn't slap anyone.
No, I didn't. When you see somebody putting on yellow, just beat them immediately. That is the rage that is instilled. And yet, just like you said, we can always coexist even with different ideologies. I have friends who are NUP and they will sit with me and say, my dear Lenia, It is this and this and this. I don't know what you're doing is not good. Check what your government is doing. And of course, they will put you back to check because I believe that the responsibility of opposition is to put the government in what?
In check.
So we are there, we are discussing and we are having all these conversations around governance and how the country is being run, around the systems, around the policies being set. We are having all these conversations around it. So I believe in coexistence. Yes, let's argue, but let it be in a responsible way. And you'll find some of us are agreeing. We're like, okay, yeah, that is true. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
But can we find a way of working through it? Can we find a way of changing it as well?
Yeah.
So me, that is my perspective on a personal level.
Okay, I wanted us to you talked about the leadership gap that motivated you to contest as a member of parliament for Vora County. And I'm quite sure you've had a good understanding of how things on ground right now.
Yes.
If the people of Vora give you an opportunity to represent them, what would be some of the key things you would want to start addressing as a member of parliament, based on what you've observed on the ground?
Every time I am moving to the constituency, I tell my people that while I am preaching effective leadership and meaningful representation in parliament, I also tell them as well, I am somebody who is passionate about education. I'm somebody who is passionate about seeing our young girls and boys go to school, learn. And back in the days, Vura was one of the counties that would actually perform well when it came to students. But now the performance has completely deteriorated. It is very bad to an extent that, because of the high poverty levels, most of the parents take their children to government schools. And in Vura, it was only one government school that gave us a first grade, right? Yeah. And of which this student had already been to this class like about twice in a row, simply because of his issues as well. And looking at our education system in the whole of Vora, it is for me, it doesn't look right. From the infrastructure, from the teaching, like everything surrounded around it, right? Can we have workshops and seminars for our teachers organized? Can we motivate them as well? Do you know that there are teachers who would rather choose to do their businesses and go for farming other than come and teach a pupil in class? Why? Because firstly, they are less motivated. Their salaries they get, a teacher feels like digging is better. The money she or he earns from that is better than the teaching salary they are paid as well. Yeah. So can we motivate the teachers? Can we work on improving our infrastructures? Can we sensitize parents to take their children to school? And I realize in Vura, you're going to check P1, P2, P3, there are very many students or pupils in class. P6, P7, they drop. Students will reach a classroom of 60. By the time they're in P7, they are 14 or 20. Why the drop levels? What is happening, right? Besides even being a responsibility of a member of parliament, at an individual level, Vura now has very many elites. For me, this is even a call to action to all the elites in Vura. Can we wake up? It's a wake-up call. Can we preach about the education system? We have very many engineers, doctors in Vura. But the problem and the issue could be majority of them are are out and may not be involved with what is taking place in their constituency. But it would be good to get involved as well if we want to grow together as a community. We cannot always be crying, government, do this, government, do that, government. Before saying, government, what have you done for us? For you, what have you done for your community? For your community to grow. So for me, what is really hitting me so hard is the education level that we have in our constituency. That hits very hard. And being learned should even begin from our leaders. But being learned should not be an opportunity for you to underestimate the locals. That even I already told you at the back scenes, Joe. The power of the masses, me that I take it very seriously. The power of the masses is something we should not underestimate. You see, majority of our people might be illiterate, yes, but they are not stupid. These are people who know what is happening. They see what is happening. They just need a little bit of sensitization to add on to that. But a member of parliament will not come and do this alone. An LC5 of the area will not come and do this alone. NGOs, civil society organizations will not come and do this alone. We cannot always wait for UN to come and help us 24/7. But as a community, as the elites in the community, can we do something as well? So for me, that is really it. Yeah, there might be very many other pending issues that I know I have already put on my manifesto and worked on it, from consultative leadership to meaningful representation to socio-economic transformation to building up our farmers in Vura. You know, there are quite a number that I would not list here as well, but you asked for the most imperative one that I have at heart, and that is education for me.
Well, agriculture, you know, Vora has been known as the food basket of West Nile for quite some time.
Food basket of West Nile,
but, most of the people in Vora have sold their land. Every year, people are leasing land because they have to make some little money. So the levels of poverty
are high
among our people. And this is not only unique to Vora, but the entire
West
region.
Nile. Yes.
So I think as an aspiring leader, those are some of the issues that, you know.
In fact, one time I was having a conversation with one of the leaders in our area, and I was like, we should be very excited that Vora has now changed. You see all these big hotels, you know, majority of the hotels we have are in Vora. You see all these big, we should actually be happy that these investors are coming.
Are the people working in these hotels from Vora?
That is what I asked him. I'm like, how are we benefiting as a constituency? The people who have built these big hotels and fancy, luxurious hotels, are they people of Vora? The people working in these hotels, are they people of Vora? You'll reach and you find people from different regions. I'm not saying that it is a bad thing, but for us, we in Vora, shouldn't our people be considered first to get employment? Because majority of them are crying of unemployment. But yet again, somebody is going to challenge me. Do they even have the skills to get employed? You're going to look for a chef and somebody will tell you, I do not have a chef from Vora. I have looked and there is no chef. And all we can do is the cleaning. So that is where the education bit comes in. Can we have a proper technical institution for the young people in Vora? Something that is well government aided, but benefits the young people, that makes them get a skill. Not just coming to learn for 2 months. You know, our NGOs, I've worked with NGOs before, and I will apologize in case I will annoy a few. But NGOs, most of the times, they do work for documentation and for finance purposes. To know, yes, we carried out this activity. It has been there for a month. We've taught young girls how to sew, and you've taken pictures, you've documented, you've financed, and that is the end of it. Nowadays, things have changed. Not majority of them are really passionate about what they are doing, right? And that is where it hits. Yes, we thank them for the work they're doing in their communities, but you realize that in Vora, there is no proper technical institution for the young people as well. So for me, that hit me very much. I looked at him and I'm like, are you serious? You're happy because of the luxurious hotels we have? How does it even benefit us in the first place? How does it benefit our people? in the first place. And this is someone very grown up thinking like that.
Okay. All right. I've had conversations with young people, and many of them have said young people are called to the dining table, and after eating, they're supposed to leave the table for the old men to continue with the conversations. And young people feel they need to be part of these conversations.
Yes.
And I think that includes young people like you,
I agree.
who are aspiring for national positions of
Definitely,
leadership,
absolutely.
to go and dine and represent the views of young people. But
yes,
the challenge has always been the mindset of our people. The mindset of our people is programmed in a way that they are looking at people who have money and people who are old, people who are things like that. And I've asked a lot of young people about this, but doesn't it affect your participation in politics, that people have this kind of narrative?
attitude towards us.
Yes.
I want to be very thankful for the young people. Majority of the young people are waking up. And by God's grace, I am very hopeful that this time the House is going to have many young people if given the opportunity by their electorates. And
Yes.
I'm really, really, really praying for that. It is true, back in the time, young people would be used to make noise in politics, make noise for the candidate, get a few handouts, and you're out. But right now, do you know that I am 100% positive that 2026 determinant is going to be the young people? Because they keep asking, why do you think members of parliament come and ask, do you have the young people? Do you have the women? And I must inform them that young people have become very sharp to the extent that majority of them have registered to vote. Majority of them are now electorates. Majority of them have now decided to take up the mantle and take the responsibility to vote. Back then, they would say, many young people are not interested in voting. They're not interested in electing their leaders. Right now, things have changed. I was shocked when I was the time I was registering in the NRM book. And I was looking through the age gap of people that have registered. You'd see 20, 25, 23, 20. Yeah, you know that range, 25, 26, 27. And I'm getting excited. And I'm happy. I'm like, oh, okay. Young people are now actually coming up. Young people are now seeing that they don't only need to come to the table and eat food and leave. They can actually represent. Their decisions are valid. Can we be put on decision-making tables? And can our views and decisions be taken? We cannot yet underestimate the knowledge of our elders, right? We cannot. For me, that I cannot. Yes, I believe they're more knowledgeable. They're experienced as well. But, we are evolving. We are evolving. Right now, we have presidents in the continent who are young, and they are doing very good work.
Absolutely.
Back then, we would not believe that a president should be 40 and below. But now we can have presidents who are 40 and below in the continent. That shows you a different spark in the young people, and I am very proud of the young people as well. Now, the issue with the attitude is one thing we need to work on as a community. For me, I would be very shocked when an elite person, when a lead is saying a young person cannot lead. And I've heard them say it very many times. Surprisingly, in my own constituency, my people that I love so much, down the other side, are believing in me more than the elite. Isn't that a shocker to you? The elite who know what is happening in the country, who know what is taking the place, who see the transition, who see young people evolving into very good leaders, into very good decision makers, into leaders who can actually put decisions to table and implement them, who say things and they can actually implement them, and not only just to come and take advantage of the people, but who also believe deep down in their hearts with conviction that people need to be served. Once you've offered your candidacy to your constituency, it is your responsibility to make sure that you fulfill whatever that you've said to them as well. But you also know the political the political nature in our country now that is highly commercialized.
Yes.
That is one reason young people are failing, to participate in politics, because they know it is highly. Where are you going to get the 300 million, the 400, even just the 50 million to participate in politics? But you have the capability to lead. You have the capacity to represent your people. And what you lack is actually the finances. You don't have the financial muscle to run the campaign. You see that problem. You see where the issue comes in. So for me, that is really it. But with the attitude, we are going to deal. If it means to prove ourselves 10 times to the community, we are going to do it. But we can only prove ourselves after they have given us a chance. The people of Vura will not know my capacity, my capability to lead if they have not given me an opportunity to show them that I can actually lead. It can only happen when they say, okay, we may have less for a benefit of a doubt. Let's try. That is when they will actually come and rethink and say, okay, this was actually the best decision we ever made.
Well, there's been a debate pertaining to local leadership vis-a-vis national leadership.
Yes.
Many people feel the parliament does not entirely represent the views of the people, of the local Ugandans here. They feel the best positions to contest for leadership are actually at the local level. Councillors, Lord Mayor, or the LC5, because the decisions that are made by these people impact the locals directly. And is this something that crossed your mind as to maybe if I contest from a local position, I would be able to serve my people and the impact will be instant, rather than going to parliament? The other day, Lawrence said, in fact, we should suspend our parliament for 2 years because it does not represent the views of our people. But what do you think? What's your view?
From a personal perspective, parliament, for me, I believe what people need to get to understand is the responsibilities of an MP. And now that you've talked about all these structures, they all have responsibilities. The mere fact that I'm an LC1 chairperson of my village is to give an overview of what is happening in my village, right? And the mere fact that I'm an LC3, you're getting information, or LC2, you're getting information from your LC1. I am somebody who believes in the channels, in the leadership channels. By the time you get to an LC5, an LC3 should have been able to help, an LC2 should have been able to help, an LC1 should have been able to help. You're not going to carry an LC1 of the village to come and talk about budgeting in parliament. You're not going to carry an LC2 of my village to come and... But for me, what I know is why these leadership channels are put across is to encourage consultative leadership as a member of parliament. So as a member of parliament, it is your responsibility to have a conversation with that line of leadership. Consult with your LC1s, consult with the LC2s. Can you work with the LC5s? Because it is only through that you are going to understand what exactly you need to do while at parliament. What exactly could be the gaps? What are you doing an overview over what? When there is a Ministry of Health and Education, what are you going to talk about? It is only through this. But also it takes a personal responsibility. This could be a shocker. Not a shocker really, but I have visited all the health centers in Vura. I have visited half of the schools in Vura because I want to see the condition by myself, so that when I'm talking, it's not an LC1 that told me, but I saw it by myself. I am having consultative meetings with people and not even with these leaders that I've mentioned, but with the local people, because they are sending me there to go and represent them. But in these channels, so if I said maybe I was standing as an LC5, an LC5 has these responsibilities. But do you know that now people believe that an MP, the responsibility of an MP is to build roads, is to build schools? Do you know that?
Yes.
An MP is supposed to pay school fees for half of the half of your constituency.
Yeah.
An MP is supposed to fund your medical bill. An MP is supposed to buy you food when you do not have. But this is the mindset that we are supposed to change,
I
and the
think
attitude.
we've failed to satisfy people's trust in us.
Yes,
Particularly leaders, because you see, when you're a leader, people believe you're in a position to lobby.
exactly.
You might not necessarily sponsor, but
You
actually you're in a
lobby
position to acquire
lobby.
scholarships for this, constituents to go and study.
Because you
things
have
like
a
that.
larger network.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think because maybe our leaders don't do this, so it makes it look like,
Exactly.
they.
Yes.
But I feel if they could actually lobby for these things, you
It
look
would
for
be
these
easier.
scholarships in institutions, you look for, people goodwill, and we have institutions around, we have technical schools
Absolutely.
and all that. Go to government, to go to the private sector. I think we could
Absolutely.
achieve some of these things. And members of parliament will not need to spend their salary on their constituents.
But you know, there are MPs that have done that and they're doing well in their constituencies. Meanwhile, they are lobbying for opportunities and they're lobbying them rightly. And you'll find people are actually asking for less. And I agree with you. When you lobby right, people will ask for less and appreciate your efforts in the community. I've seen MPs lobby for scholarship opportunities. I've seen MPs lobby for farming materials from the Ministry of Agriculture. I've seen MPs do that, lobbying for good health, speaking over all this. There are those who have done it. So when Dangote says Parliament should be suspended, me, I would say it should be particular political actors that need to be suspended, not the whole of Parliament. Because I've seen members of Parliament do good, rightly, but you've also seen those who just simply it's their 5 years and all they have done is absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Okay. What would be your message to young people, not only Vora,
Yes.
but young people across the region or the country at large as we get up to the elections? What would be your key message to the young people?
Okay. It's in a three-way. Allow me to talk to the young people, but as well our elders, with all the due respect. For the young people, I am so proud that we have decided to stand for leadership positions. I know very many young people who are doing so well in their constituencies, who are really trying to prove themselves to the community. And I'm really very grateful that now they want to be at the decision-making tables. They want to speak not only for themselves as young people, but for their communities as well, for their people in the constituency as well. For me, that is incredible. But for young people, again, can we support each other as young people? Because I usually call it a generational cause. Right now, we're on this show. You've given me an opportunity to be here. By the way, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Here, you've supported me because of you, people are going to listen to what I have to say. Because of you, I have clarified a few things here and there. So I thank you for that. Maybe even because of you, the elites in our communities will choose to believe in me and vote for me as well. So that is the type of support we are talking about. I feel so bad to see a fellow young person put down a fellow young person, and yet we are all growing together. It's a work in progress. We are learning, we are developing, and we are growing together as well. So for me, that is really my message to the young people. Let's hold each other's hands as much as we can.
Okay.
But again, to our elders, it would be very sad for an elder to say, I've heard this statement so many times, this person is young and she cannot lead. What has age got to do with setting policies? What has age got to do with speaking up for your people? What has age? And I'm happy that now we've seen a few young people get into parliament, but they are very few. At the age of 23, 24, they are very few.
Yeah.
So for me, it should not really be about age. It should be about the brilliance that comes along with the young age. It should be about the intelligence, the ideas, the views, the opinions, the implementation, the ability to make decisions, even in tough conditions. That is hard for a young person. It should be that and not the age in specific. And this is especially to the people of Vora who keep complaining that Lenia is young, Lenia Meli Chaku, you know. For me, I would even say it in Lubarati. Lenia Meli Chaku, Lenia Tony Badritseko. That is not how it is supposed to be. Look at me, listen to me, and see if I have the ability and the capacity to lead. And yes, to the elders of Vura, it is only when you give me the opportunity that you will know that I can actually lead. You've had the grown-ups, and haven't they disappointed us? So let us try a young mind. Vura is a young district. This is lastly, Joe. Vura is a young district. I usually give an example of a baby. When a mother produces a baby, you'll see most of the times it is the kid babysitting. Why is it like that? Vura is a young district, and Vura needs young minds to babysit Vura. It's a rural district, still very young. A lot needs to be done. And we need all these young people in these particular spaces. So let the elders give us the opportunity as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lenia, for sparing time to join us here on the podcast. We're very excited that you're able to come through. And like you said, the number of issues that needed to be clarified, you're able to do that. And we're happy that you did exactly that. For those of you who are wondering where we are here at Harrington Hotel. We thank them for giving us the opportunity to shoot here. This is an Also Arts production, and we shall be happy to come back next Wednesday with another episode of the PoliChat Podcast.
Wait, before you close.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Joe. Joe, I had forgotten to tell you, please invite more women to the show. I'm somebody, I don't know how I forgot to talk about women today. I am a number one woman for woman. So please,
definitely.
Please invite more women to the show.
Definitely, we have a list of aspirants that includes both male and female who will be on the show, and we shall be seeing them going forward. So thank you so much for watching. We will catch up again next Wednesday. Bye-bye.